What's up? It's Way Up with Angela Yee, and this is exciting because for the first time, St. John is hanging out here with me.
Yes, I am.
It was a little blasphemous earlier. You said, "You're not from Brooklyn, are you?" And I said,
Yo.
"Actually, yes, I am." Where'd you think I was from?
I wasn't super sure. I knew it was the East Coast, right?
Okay.
Because it's East Coast energy. But I was like, it might not be Brooklyn. But sometimes people say that about me. They think I'm from like London or something.
Okay, I could see that.
I think they just saying I'm fly.
Yeah, I could see. Well, you could be flying from Brooklyn too.
Nah, but it's a different thing.
But
when
you're
they
very
say,
eclectic, I think.
What does that mean when people say that?
It means that you can't be boxed into a certain category. So it's not like you have like some people from Brooklyn, you could tell, like that person's from Brooklyn. But I think you have a lot of different things and a lot of different sounds. Even your style is not necessarily like I could tell where you're from.
Right, it's not one dimensional.
Right.
I always take that when somebody says eclectic, like, oh, that's a synonym for weirdo. You call me a weirdo. But
No.
I didn't think you meant that. But I just wanted to clarify it. Because people could say, oh, you dynamic. It carries the same energy. Eclectic definitely sounds like weirdo.
No, because I think dynamic means more like energy-wise. I think eclectic is more style-wise in my head.
That's how you interpret it.
Yeah, that's
dynamic.
how we actually in my college at Wesleyan we had a house called the Eclectic House. Well, you know what? You might be right now.
I know. You see, I know what the eclectic house. I know what's going on.
All right, you're dynamic, and I
Thank
just
you.
want to say you're very dynamic.
All right, thank you.
But even like your style of music, and I know people are excited. Even watching you on Twitter and seeing how you interact with people is very dynamic.
Yeah, it is.
You know, and how you call your albums aren't albums. You said they're collections, and you're
Yeah.
very clear on that. So just break that down, though, for people who are listening. And like, we want to hear more dynamicism.
Well, for me, collections clarifies all the pieces that go into them. So my art requires fashion, film, there's multimedia, there's sound, there's all the elements of design.
Mm-hmm.
So to call it an album wouldn't characterize it or classify it in the way that it encompasses all the other things. All the mediums of art go into my art.
Right.
I'm at Fashion Week looking at production. I'm looking at fabrics and production. I'm looking at the way they're pairing sound with clothing. I'm thinking about that and how to incorporate that in my song. I go home, I'm back in the studio and I'm working, and I'm thinking, oh, would this sound good with silk? It's crazy. I don't know if other people are thinking about that.
Okay.
But that's part of my process. So to encapsulate it, calling it a collection is the right way to refer to it. Like people that I really respect and really revere, like fine artists,
Mm-hmm.
their bodies are collections.
Okay.
Picasso is making collections.
I could see maybe that's why. I know you were in the Book of Clarence, but it kind of reminds me of James Samuel a little bit.
Yeah, that's
too. That's why they think you're British.
I don't know. You know what's crazy? And James, that's my brother. I love him. We're like family. We are family. So they definitely give me that. Like, yo, you from London? I'm like, I'll take it. It's alternate New York for me.
Right.
Because London definitely ain't nothing soft over there.
And it's definitely expensive.
Yeah.
Similar to New York.
For sure.
And so I want to talk about just so many things because I've always wanted to have you up here. First of all, you talk about fashion. It is Fashion Week here in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Where would you say your style of fashion was born?
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. But it didn't stay there.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever I'm from is not where I ended up. Because I was always curious about other things. I remember when I was in high school, I was doing stupid shit. Like, can I curse? My
Yeah,
bad.
you did.
Yeah, my bad. I was doing nonsense, what I would call nonsense now. I remember taking a Louis Vuitton Speedy. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
I had that in high school, and I talked people into believing it was a mini carry-on. I wasn't even flying around nowhere at
Right.
the time.
How did you even have a Louis Vuitton
I
Speedy
don't know,
in high
it was
school?
a fake one too.
Oh, okay,
it was
good.
100% a fake one. I was not up. I was finessing, but they don't know no difference.
You're right about that.
Yeah, I'm in high school. How y'all know? Y'all don't know what this is. So
I remember my first designer bag. That was way after high school. Do you remember like your first ever? Because that's a big deal when growing up in Brooklyn and you get like your first designer something.
Yeah, I remember mine. I held on to it for a long time. I wish I still had it. It's this Gucci black duffel, so it's black on black. So the monogram is sort of embedded and you can't see it from a distance.
Okay.
So if you were up close, you realize it was cool. I had it. I got it from the outlet too. I think we went to.
Oh, them Gucci outlets was no joke. You went to Secaucus?
Nah, I never been to Secaucus.
Okay.
What's the other one?
Woodbury Commons?
I got busy at Woodbury. I didn't even buy it too. A good friend of mine, this girl,
Okay.
I was,
She boosted it?
No.
Okay.
She wasn't scamming. She had a good job. She was the first person I knew with a good job.
So wait, she bought it for you?
Yeah, she held me down. She bought it for me. Saved my life.
This is not the same girl that changed the locks on you.
Nah, that was my mom that changed the locks on me. Oh, your mom changed the lock.
Okay.
Yeah, nah, moms. Wow, she really did change the locks on me. That hurt my feelings. I still think about it now.
Well,
yeah, right,
but look, you did buy her a house, right? You paid off a house for her.
I paid off the crib.
That's a beautiful thing. Yeah. Let's go back to that. Why did your mom change the locks on you? Because I've always wanted to know.
All right.
Shout out to Kyra who held you down.
Shout out to Kyra. Man, shout out to Kyra. I closed my eyes. All right, so I was in, first of all, the crib that she's in now is that she changed the locks on me is the crib that I paid off. That's the full circle moment.
Wow.
So I was living in Connecticut. I lived in Connecticut for like 3 years after high school, right? And I was just trying to figure out music and hustle and figure out modeling, all types of things. Whatever the finesse was, I was trying to make it work. And I was working at this call center for this company. They sold this product called Snuggie.
Oh, I love Snuggies. Like the little blankets?
Yeah, with the arms.
Snuggies was lit. I'm not going to lie. I had a Snuggie.
Yeah, I never even got one. I was working at the call center. I never got one. I remember what I was making, too. I was making $7.25 an hour.
Oh, man.
Right? And we was living in New Haven, but the call center was like 45 minutes outside of New Haven. So I had to get on the bus to get to the call center. I got off of work at 9 o'clock, and the bus stopped running at 8:30. So every night I was rolling the dice. It was like, I pray somebody take me home. Because I didn't know how it was going to go. You don't get to make no friends at the call center. You on a phone all day.
Yeah.
You just taking calls, finessing people like, oh, you want to, yeah, I'll give you your money back. Or let me give you 2 Snuggies instead of your money back. So I was like, it was
slinging Snuggies.
Slinging Snuggies. So I got home one day and my mom, I looked clean. I always looked like I had it together. My greatest asset was the way I presented myself. So I remember getting home one day and it was New Year's Eve and my mom had changed the locks because she thought I was getting money and not giving her none.
Okay.
So I'm making $7.25 an hour and I'm working 27 hours a week. It was 27 to 28. They only had part-time hours for me. So I'm struggling to figure out how to get home at night. After taxes, it's probably $120 a week. And my mom, because I looked clean and my skin was straight, she was like,
he's getting to the money.
Out. He's getting to the bag. And I'm like, huh? But I can't explain that to a Guyanese mother. She don't get it. She's just looking at the aesthetic of it. So she changed the locks on me on New Year's. It broke my whole heart. Now, I ended up homeless for a little bit, and then Kyra held me down.
That's wild that just because she thought she was getting to the money. But
yeah.
Okay, let's flash back to that. Because as a woman, I always am like, okay, but maybe sometimes history is what makes someone think that. Because prior to that, right, were you a good kid or were you doing things that made her feel like my son is going down the wrong path?
I was like a half-wicked kid, but I had good intentions.
He's so good at this.
Nah,
ladies, you hear this? Okay, go ahead.
It's true. I had really good intentions. Because all of my brothers were the worst. They were on demon time. So naturally that rubs off, right? But everybody doing their extreme wickedness, like it wasn't going good for nobody. And I was the younger brother, so I had to make good decisions, better decisions. I'm like, oh, that's not going to work if I go hustle. Look, it's like, it's 6 of y'all. Everybody getting locked up.
Right.
Uncle's getting locked up. This ain't no Tony Montana movie. This ain't gonna work. So one of us got to do something different. So I participated in some things, and in other things I tried to be like way more smart, way more advanced, because I just didn't think I didn't have the luck. You know, we all know somebody in the street that's not confessing nothing. I'm just saying we all know somebody from somewhere doing something super slimy, and they're the luckiest person on planet
Earth. They never
Earth.
get caught.
Nothing never happens. I wasn't that kid. I just didn't have that luck, so it wasn't gonna go good for me.
You had a different type of finesse to you.
Different type of finesse. So, it wasn't like I was up and I was getting money and I was thriving. So I'm not sure what my mom thought. She just a Guyanese parent. So where she's like, yo, you 18, you an adult, you got to pay bills. I'm like, dog, how?
Yeah, 18 is still...
I'm like, you a child for a long time.
18, especially guys. I feel like guys take a lot longer. Like even I think about me and my brother. I moved out like 17, I'm gone. My brother was still home. Like, I think to this day, well, I don't want to say this, but my mom still be doing his laundry sometimes. And we so grown. He's older than me. I'm
shaking my head. I'm like, I ain't never really had that, so I can't even relate. That sounds so kind and nice.
Right. Well, and you also did live in Guyana part-time.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so talk to me about Guyana. I have a lot of Guyanese friends. You know, I'm from Brooklyn, too, so Guyana is heavy in Brooklyn.
So half of my life, like half of my childhood, I spent growing up in Guyana. So my first couple months, I was in America. I was born here because my mom wanted us to have our papers. That was the whole play.
Right.
The whole family is Guyanese. All of the elders, so grandparents, aunts, uncles, all the first generation were like me and my cousins, and it was only half of us. So we got here by the skin of our teeth, right? So my mom brought us here. She got 3 boys and 1 girl. My pop makes up the other 6, so there's 10 siblings. Because in a Caribbean household, it don't matter who gave birth to who.
Right.
This is the whole family.
That's your family.
Yeah, so there's 10 of us. But my mom, she made sure we came here, and then she sent us back because she ain't had no money.
Right. So, but she got to come here, work, take care of you, send money home.
Yeah. So that was the play. So we would be there for 3 years and then come back for 3 years and then go back for 3 years and then come back for 3 years. And I'm not sure what it was about the 3-year interval, but that's what it took for her to save up enough money. She was a nurse's aide. At first, she started a cleaning company. She was just figuring out her hustle.
Right.
Man, she was a nurse's aide working 3 shifts a day. I'm not even sure how there's enough time to work 3 shifts in one day, but that's what she was doing. So when I was in Guyana, sometimes I would live with my pops. That would happen really, really early. But then it was family, friends. It was these 4 women that helped raise me. Oh, man, I don't get to shout them out enough. Cheryl, Roxanne, Lizanne, and Rabina. And I was just a part of, I didn't know that they weren't my aunts or they weren't blood. I didn't know.
That's amazing. When they say it takes a village.
Yeah.
And it's so nice how we can all come together and do things like that, because without them, who knows?
I'd be somewhere stuck in the mud for sure. I'd be messed up.
Hearing this whole story from you, what do you think about what's happening now here when we think about immigration, when we think about how people are this current administration, and maybe, certain people look at people from other countries like, oh, we got to send them back, get them out of here.
How would this country have been built? We're built on immigrants. The immigrants, all of us are, I don't know, who's from America?
Yeah, the Native Americans.
Yeah.
And that's it. And
outside of that, all of us have come in some ways gentrified a land. No?
Yeah, no. Listen, I completely agree with you. My heart goes out to people who come here and work really hard, because I think there is this stigma that's being presented that it's like, okay, these people are coming from other countries and they're taking advantage and they're raping and pillaging and stealing and doing all these awful things. But I feel like immigrants are the hardest working people, and they want to be able to pay their taxes and do things the right way and work and go to school and raise their families and feel safe and comfortable. But somehow it's been presented in a whole different way, depending on the color of your skin.
That's just good media or bad media, depending on what side of the coin you're on. Because that's always been a conversation. When I was a kid, when my mom was a kid, they never wanted immigrants in this country, although they took immigrant slave labor to build the whole country. Now they feel like it's at a place where it's a premium place to be. So they sort of discard the rest of us. I'm not on the side of the coin that's voting for throwing people away and sending them back to their country. I think there's some dangerous things happening here.
Right.
That we got to police immigration.
I think that we need to have laws, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the other problem, is that people can't agree on how things should happen. And it's got to be a plan. And that's the real problem, is that there's no plan. It takes forever. It takes a lot of money for people to be able to stay here in this country. And even people who want to do it the right way, it could take years, sometimes over a decade for that to happen.
For sure. One of my closest friend, Rennie Penny, he got his visa. He finally got his papers at 35 years old.
Wow. And how long? Since
He'd been here since he was 16, 15.
That's crazy. And people don't understand it. They're like, these people aren't doing things the right way. They're trying.
They're trying.
Yeah.
It's not simple. It's not effortless. And you can't do it without an immense amount of resources. I mean, you get this, right? So imagine having to pay for an immigration lawyer when you could barely pay your rent.
Listen, and I had this woman on the show. She's an author. She's from Haiti. And she told me the most heartbreaking story about how she was working, she was a nanny, she was doing all this stuff. And her immigration lawyer, she was paying him, meeting with him, and he brought her to a room and raped her. And she couldn't say anything because she was trying to get her papers. This was her lawyer. The process had already started. And she was like, it was just a mattress. And you could tell this was something that he had done before. So when I hear people talking about, oh, why aren't they doing things the right way? People are trying, and they're trying their hardest, but it's not easy.
It's not. There's nothing easy about becoming an American citizen. There's nothing easy about it.
And that's a test I can't even pass either. When you see the questions, I'm like, I don't know the answers to none of these questions.
Like, how? Yeah, I'm not voting for disparaging things that just throw people back to the country they're from. Look, if you're doing if you being extreme and violating the land, you gotta get out of here.
You gotta go.
Yeah, even if you family. I've had a bunch of my brothers get deported.
Right. Oh, wow.
Back to Guyana. So this is not an unfamiliar conversation for me.
Right.
Like, you being a dirtbag, I get it. All right, cool. You trying to get money? Cool. It ain't work, though. You got to slide.
Whew. I know. Sorry. I know we went completely off track of what it is that we're talking about here. But let's talk about this installation that you have now, because, it is festival season. You're doing Coachella.
Yeah, I'm finally doing Coachella.
Look at the smile.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. Yeah. So where were you when you got that call? How did that even happen?
I probably was in Puerto Rico. I live in Puerto Rico now. So I got the call.
You live in Puerto Rico now?
Yeah, I live in Puerto Rico. Yeah.
And taxes, right?
That's what they say.
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. There's some benefits. If you can get beaches, taxes, and just a better quality of life, then go for it.
I love this. We're going to talk more about that. But go ahead, Coachella.
All right, so I think I was probably in the living room. I got these floor-to-ceiling windows that make it feel like I'm outside when I'm not outside. Because I think I'm an extroverted introvert, so I just want to look outside. I might not actually want to go. And my agent was like, "Yo, I think we're getting Coachella. It's happening." And everything happens on time, even when you feel like it's late. So in my mind, I'm like, "Gang, what you mean? This can't be the first time." But I was grateful for it nonetheless, because I've circled the sun a bunch of times. I've done shows and festivals and sold out tours in Australia, Europe, even before I was touring in America. I've done all the things that I'm excited by, but that was on the list.
Right,
Coachella.
That's on
the list.
That's a vibe right there.
Yeah.
So festival season. So is that part of, like, why festival season as the name of the collection?
I think it's just important for us to brush shoulders and be in uncomfortable settings that are designed for people to feel more free. Like, when you leave your house with the intention to go see a show, it's different when you're in an enclosed box versus you're in somewhere where the space is massive.
Right.
And there's air and greenery around you and people that you don't know who are there to enjoy themselves, and you can tell. I wanted the nature of that energy in the body of work that I'm presenting. So this collection, when you listen to it, it's called Festival Season because it feels like you're at a St. John Festival. It actually sounds like you were just listening to a live...
like a live show?
A live show.
Yeah, a live performance.
The whole thing is a set list. It starts like I'm opening Coachella, and it ends like I'm closing Wireless Festival.
That's gonna listen. So they sent it to me yesterday. So it's not a short album. So I haven't had a chance to digest it because I don't like when people talk too much about music when you haven't had a chance to really live with it. But what I did see is what is it? Hold on. The name of the performance that you just did. Poppin', is that what it is?
Oh, I was doing I did Pop.
No, let's talk about this song for a second.
All right, let's talk about it.
Because it feels a little different for you, right? But it's still fun. It's like, it's got like a sexy red vibe. And by the way, I do enjoy songs that are like just fun like that and a little nasty.
Yeah, so, for sure that.
But it was a risk for you, I feel like, which I don't think that you're averse to that. But talk to me about that song.
It's just an ignorant record. It's not, in my mind, actually not just in my mind, in my catalog of music, I've touched this space a bunch of times. These just aren't my biggest records.
Right.
So to be gone for 4 years and come back and present this, like this is something you need to see, it's aggressive. It's almost disruptive. So if you just wanted to hear something melodic and something pleasant, it's not that. But that's okay. Everything has its place. Take Keith. Yeah, you went crazy. It's ignorant, but I'm always known for ignorant music. It's part of that because that's part of my dynamic. That's what makes me. That's what makes
you. It's because I feel like we all have that. We have all sides, right?
Yeah.
To be able to sit here and have these more in-depth conversations, but then we all got that fun, ignorant side to us too.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're from Brooklyn.
Yeah, even the girls going to church be twerking, so it's just that.
The Christian Sex Club.
Christian Sex Club.
I mean, it all is kind of like
It lives in my space. I always dance on the line. I dance on the line of, is that okay? Did he go too far? Is it too far? What does he mean? Do I believe in that? Is it exciting?
But like you said, it's been 4 years. So did you have any type of like hesitation about it, or were you just like, you just don't care?
I do care. It'd be foolish to pretend like I don't care. I spent a lot of time making art. I care enough. I almost care too much. But I didn't want to overproduce the result of it. For one, when you listen to this entire body of work, all of it will make sense.
Okay.
When you take things outside of context of, the whole sound bed, the whole collection, you might itemize and be like, I don't want that. I get why you don't want that. If I just took a scene out of Pulp Fiction and gave you no context to it, it just seems like the guy's having a monologue about nothing.
Right. Okay.
But when you watch the movie, you go, oh, he was going to kill him. That's it. The entire cinema of this performance sonically, it all reads well together. It all lives well together. It's a live show.
Listen, all right, well, I'm going to talk about some of the songs that really stuck out to me.
All right.
Fuck Me and Sad. I enjoyed that one.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think relationship-wise, too, as you talk about how there's these different sides to you, relationship-wise, I can't figure out what it is that you want. So if you had to say relationship-wise, this is where you see yourself, what would you say? Because, you had the song previously, Wedding Day, and it feels like you want to be married and you want it to last forever, but then, I don't know.
It just don't be working. So
It don't be working. Is it because of you or?
Oh, I got to be partially accountable. Maybe it's because of me.
Maybe
because I make bad picks. I'm not really sure, but it got to be a combination of things. If I keep picking bad, then that got to be on me, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So even in all of my artwork, there's a reoccurring theme. There's something in the visual art. I keep putting me in a bride. There's always a woman in a veil. I even did this for my video called Lust, the song called Lust. I had 4 chocolate Barbie brides in the desert in white veils and white lingerie, and we were in a Nissan, I think Z300 or something like that. I remember the car. I keep flirting with the idea because the fantasy in my mind is to meet the type of woman that would make me want to get married.
Mm-hmm.
Not force me to marry her, but would be so exciting to me that would make me challenge something that it's not something I believe in. Because the idea of marriage just don't work in 2025. It really doesn't work. The sanctity of it is a beautiful concept, but the practicality of it, living through it, is really difficult, and most people can't survive it. So I constantly am flirting with the danger of, I'm telling the truth of the danger of, I don't really believe in this because it don't work. But I'd like to be at a place where somebody makes me feel so compelled that I want to try something that I know is disastrous.
Have you ever felt that even for a moment? Because I feel like I could see that. There's been moments when you're like, you've probably even said it before.
Oh, like I want to marry you?
Yeah. You have.
I gotta say, let me say that. I want to marry you, girl. I'm trying to say it to relive it in my head. I would marry you. I want to marry you. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever even said it. Because
have you ever called someone wifey?
I used to hate that word.
Yeah, I don't really like that word.
I hate that word, wifey. So I'm not really even sure.
It reminds me of the song by Next. Can you be my wife? It's what we call anyway, go ahead.
I don't think I've ever done that.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been in relationships where I would have married the woman, but I didn't believe in it. So it wouldn't have been right either way. I would have done it to honor the relationship. But I'm like, that's dumb. That doesn't work.
So you think that maybe one day it wouldn't be traditional? Because, listen, being with somebody, getting married, I think now there's all different ways that people are having relationships.
Yeah.
Where it's like, we're married, but X, Y, and Z. Or maybe you have 4 brides.
I like the 4 brides. That sound like that could work.
Yeah? You think you can handle that?
You know what? People pretend like that's some easy thing. That's not a small sport.
Definitely not.
Nah, that's a big sport. To manage 4 personalities, keep everybody happy. I would try. I try real hard.
Oh my gosh.
I try real hard.
I feel so sorry for you. You'll be so stressed out.
Probably, but some days wouldn't be so stressful at all. Some days would just be wonderful.
Now, you said accountability on yourself. What do you think about you? Because, sometimes people will say, a guy made me this way. Like, everything was good. He did this to me. He hurt me. And now this is how I am. And I'm acting so out of character. I'm not like myself because of what you did to me.
I don't blame nobody for me, not necessarily. There are things that I just didn't learn. I really just didn't. Like, my mom didn't teach me anything about, she thought I was going to abuse it. I remember her being like, I'm not telling y'all nothing about girls, nothing about how to deal with women. That was kind of a misstep.
Right.
But she was just trying to make sure that we didn't become more wicked.
Mm-hmm.
But what she really did was she didn't give us information.
I think that's a Caribbean thing too. Like, because my mom, they definitely never had any talk with me about anything when it came to relationships or whoever I was going to end up with. It's just not a conversation.
It's not.
They just don't want you to do it.
Did they talk to you about sex though?
No.
My mom definitely talked to me about sex.
What did she tell
though.
you about sex?
She's like, you put on that condom. I don't want no babies. She was just keeping it a buck. And I could live with that. I was like, all right, cool. You got a bunch of boys. You got to figure out how to do that.
Mm-hmm. But because y'all could be bringing home all kind of kids.
Yeah, it could go left.
Mm-hmm.
But she definitely just didn't want to give me game on women. And my pops was he's had a lot of women. So I had.
That is your example of what it is.
My earliest superhero was a guy that just had a ton of women around him. He wasn't treating them well because he definitely was going. It went left with my mom. She was still in his life when he just had a bunch of women. His mistress used to live a couple blocks away, and everybody knew. We knew. My mom knew. I guess this is wild. She might hear this and be like, "Yo, why you telling me?" Oh, she might be all right.
Right.
But
listen,
that was normal.
That you so right about that.
Yeah.
One of my friends is Jamaican, and her it was actually her husband had a whole nother family around the corner. She only found out because she followed him one day.
Oh my God.
And he act like he had a job. He was going to work, but he was going to his other house literally around the corner.
That's expensive too.
Yeah, it is. You got to really have it going on too.
You really do. Yo, broke. Guys be broke having 3 families. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah, because one family is a lot.
A lot.
And I could tell you have expensive taste already. So
yeah, and I'd have my girl and my kids being fly. I would end up being a bum if I had multiple families.
Right.
Because
take care of them first.
Yeah.
Now, look, back to fuck being sad. You did say that you wish you were still friends with your ex, but she don't mess with you. Which ex are you talking about?
She's not going to get the credit. So I'm not even going to point it out.
Well, why don't she talk to you at all anymore? Like, why? And what do you miss about that?
I think we just had a really good relationship. Like our connection, our bond as people. Like we were friends first.
Mm-hmm.
So in the last couple relationships, I figured out, friendship has to be the thing that you prioritize. Like it took a while to do that.
Right.
You know, when you meet somebody, you're just interested in them for the purposes you're interested in them for.
Mm-hmm.
So, she's exciting, she's sexy, he's sexy, whatever you like, when it's male or female. But you don't go into it with the intention of, you cool. I just want to be cool with you. You're attractive, I'm attracted, but that's not the intention here. I just want to see if you cool and we could hang out, we could play table tennis, and we could go
table tennis.
Whatever it is,
That's very specific. I like that.
and she was that. She was just a really cool person, like a really great friend. But then when we introduced the relationship component,
oh, you ruined the friendship.
Everything went out the window. It just couldn't work. It wasn't sustainable.
Yeah. You think you could be faithful?
Faithful. Nah, I'm saying, look, I'm looking around the room. Monogamy is a heavy responsibility on everybody.
On women too.
Yeah, it's heavy. It's heavy. So for you to ask somebody to make sure that you're their all and they're your all, and they come to you to seek all of their needs that they can't fulfill internally, all the things that are external needs, that's heavy. Most people aren't ready for that. Mm-hmm. They say they are, but how could you? When you get the 2 a.m. call, yo, come on, you know what's up? I'm here.
Look, Dan's getting married in a couple of months, and he is. I feel like he's gonna be. I feel like he's gonna be faithful. Yeah. I can't guarantee anything, but it definitely feels like for them, they're each other's all. You just maybe haven't found that yet, like you said.
Well, you know what? Not to drag Dan into this because he's got to go home to his woman, and that would be dangerous.
Yeah, she's lit though.
Dan, how difficult is it to go to one person for all of the things you need, even when they're an exceptional human being? How challenging is it really because that becomes our expectation. We really do expect the person that we love and we trust and we're transparent with to somehow be able to fulfill the things that we communicate to them that we need.
Right.
And they have their own life qualms, expectations, faults. Like, how does that work for real?
It's just a conversation. I don't know. I feel like no one will ever be able to fulfill everything anyone needs. No one will ever reach that level of fulfillment, period. So, like, for me, with my fiance, it was kind of just like, what are the most important things in my life that I either can't do by myself or don't want to do by myself? And is this someone that I can see to be the mother of my children? Is this someone that I can trust to, like, lead me? Is it someone that I can trust to make important decisions under stressful situations? And yeah.
And he converted his religion to get married, so he's Muslim now.
Wow.
Yeah. Sorry, Dan.
Wow.
Yeah. He's a big fan of yours. I just want to let you know he was very excited that you were coming today.
All right, fire. Fire. We gotta let Dan fire off some questions
That's
too.
That's why he has no problem answering these questions.
Well, I'm also not going to answer questions behind the scenes, and then people are watching the interview, and everyone's like, "What is he saying?"
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, he's a professional. Did you have any questions before I finish? Before I continue?
Nah, you keep doing your thing, Ange.
Okay, all right. Now, so Christian Sex Club, since we just talked about religion and your fashion line, I do have a sweatsuit that I love that I've had for literally years.
How's the fabric?
It is amazing.
How's
When I
the
tell you I
quality?
could wash it, put it in a dryer, no problem. And every time I wear it, people are like, where did you get that from?
How's the packaging that it arrived in?
I don't remember the packaging. I feel like maybe it had the zipper bag.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It should
okay,
have
I do
had a
remember
design
that.
from a tour.
I don't know.
It should have been either transparent
It was transparent.
or with a print
It's
on
black and it has like the
it. Oh, it says not a cult.
yeah. So, and I love it. Like to this day, it's still it looks brand new, like the day that I got it. And you know, I'm big on quality. I'm not the type, I don't like fast fashion.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. I mean, I do like a skin tight something on somebody I like. Mm-hmm. And that usually ain't so expensive.
Right, right.
But I don't want to.
Well, women, I think, get away with that more.
They do. Guys don't. It don't work.
Y'all can't have no
Nah, it don't work.
not well-made quality clothing
Definitely
with strings
looks
hanging off of it.
crazy. You got lint in your beard from the inside of your terry cloth shirt or hoodie that you wearing. You could tell.
But even the name Christian Sex Club, talk to me about that, because we just talked about religion. We just talked about the two different, like, your yin and your yang. So was that ever something that, like, did you get any flack for that? Or were people? No?
Nope. I didn't
Okay.
get any flack. Saying that out loud now, who knows what that's going to
Sorry.
invite? Who knows what's going to come from that? But no, people never took it as something that was sacrilegious because it doesn't come from that place.
Right.
I'm too rooted in religion. It's too real for me. In fact, the whole St. John, Christian Sex Club, the cross, these are all things that I ran from. My mom pushed me into religion, forced it upon us. She wasn't even going to the church she had us going to.
What?
Yeah, she was on that type of energy. Yeah, Caribbean mom energy.
I used to have to go to church with my grandfather all the time. And as soon as he moved back to the West Indies, my mom stopped going to church, and my grandfather would write us letters every week about how my mom was now like a, just how he was upset about the path that she took, and we have to go to church. And he became a missionary and everything.
Wow. Mm-hmm. My mom is a minister.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
That's next level.
So my grandmother and my mom, they both studied metaphysics, and I guess they got their masters in metaphysics. So they're acting. Well, my grandmother passed now, but my mom is carrying on a tradition, and she's a minister. So if she's not offended and she knows the intention of her child, she knows how she reared me.
And she's so proud of you, I'm sure.
Super proud of me. Super proud. I played her festival season. I went to see her in Connecticut for like Christmas, and I played it for her in the car. And some of it is vulgar for sure. So I'm like, oh man, how's Barbara gonna deal with this? She wasn't tripping at all. She ain't break a sweat. She actually was like, this is unbelievable. Because my mom calls me my first name, which is Carlos.
Yeah. Carlos St. John.
Yeah, but she says Carlos. So she be like, Carlos, this is beautiful. She gave me the greatest compliment. I don't play music for my mom.
Really? Okay.
I don't. It's not a part of my practice.
But does she come to shows? Has she?
She has, because I've invited her for sure. And she comes and she's really proud, and she'll be dripping in her own aesthetic. She won't look like nobody else. And I remember she said, this body of work is so incredible and refined and mature, and she just kept saying things. And I only have like 2 instances in my life when I played music for her.
Right.
First time was when I sent her Brown Skin Girl, because I finished
and you
it
know
in
she was
Jamaica.
gonna love that. Automatic.
So she loved that. And then the second time was another song, and I think this is the third. This is the third or the second, I believe.
That Brown Skin Girl, that's surreal. Like, to have that under your belt, that's something that I don't know who. That's a rare accomplishment for anyone.
Thank you.
It feels good, right?
Thank you.
You're like, yes.
That's how I felt when I wrote it. I felt just like that. Because my intention was so clear. When I'm making music, I'm trying to be honest. right? I'm just being honest with whatever the emotion is at the time and the transparency of my feelings. But Brown Skin Girl had an intention. I knew what I was aiming to do when I was making it. I don't often do that. So to look at the target, fire, and hit it, because I was trying to make a song that I thought about my future children. I was thinking about a future daughter that I could have one day, and if all I did was make songs and all I did was leave them money and all I did was take cool pictures and all I did was know some people and make some movies, then I didn't do anything intentionally for them or for her. So this was future daughter. This is for you. I'm making this for you because I want to sing this to you at night. I want you to know.
That is beautiful.
That was my hope and my dream. So I don't have I don't have a kid yet.
Yeah.
But that was my hope, and I didn't consider all the people that would be singing it to their daughters. I was making it for one that I would have. So
wait till that happens. That's gonna be. I can't wait till you do that.
Oh my gosh!
That clip with this music playing and you in the hospital.
That's gonna blow my whole mind.
Having a daughter is also gonna change probably your whole view on.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna be softer. I'm gonna be a sucker, right? That's what happens. Guys become suckers.
Yeah, you gotta get soft for your.
Yeah, they start reviewing the tapes and all the terrible things they did. They're like,
I don't want that karma to hit me. And
right.
My daughter goes, because the one thing I will say as a man, you should want your daughter to be with somebody like you.
Yeah. Yes.
So you got a little time to work on it.
I think I'm a really good guy.
I'm playing
you know
with
what?
You. I'm playing.
I don't know if most guys would say, if they're really honest, they look in the mirror. I'm like, no, you. Look, this is just me talking about me, so it sounds crazy either way. Take it however. The quality of human being that I feel like I am, when I look in the mirror, I'm who I say I am, and that's the most important thing to me. I'm who I say I am. How many people you meet, they're not who they say they are.
You're right. You know what you're getting.
Yeah. I got some things I gotta fix, some patches I gotta patch up, but I'm who I say I am, and I think that's remarkable.
And you feel like you're exactly where you need to be, because even thinking about how you got on the map as far as being an artist, because we know you were writing songs also, but getting on the map as an artist and having a song like break through the way it did, that's also something that's really, I don't know too many situations like that either. You know, just with Roses and seeing how everything happened and transpired from when you put it out and then years later to have that be a song that's like a big hit.
It was incredible confirmation for me. When I first put out Roses, I was certain it was a hit record. What's funny is that that's part of the Beyonce conversation too, because initially I wrote Roses because I was trying to get it to her. Mm-hmm. And it just never landed. And I was like, this is a record. And I tell this to other songwriters too. I'm like, yo, somebody came up to me the other day like I was in Berlin, and they're like, yo, I got a hit record for you. First of all, I'm not taking records from nobody.
Yeah, because then they're going to act like you stole this song. I gave him the record. I ran up on him in Berlin.
I don't take, nobody writes my songs. I write every single thing I do. I co-produce every single thing that I make.
Wow.
I don't want nobody's ideas. Not because other people don't have good ideas. Just because every word I say, I want it to be true to my story and my belief system. I want to design the fabric I live in.
Does that come from you having written songs for other people and their interpretation of it maybe not being your intention, or where does that come from?
I think all my heroes were just independent.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I borrowed from that. And I just want to be the author of my own destiny and all the language and all the script that goes with it. Mm-hmm. That's always been a course that I wanted to chart.
Okay.
Right? So a guy comes to me in Berlin. He's like, I got a hit record for you. And I tell him, I was like, it's a hit? He's like, yeah. I said, then why are you trying to bring it to me, fam? Put it out. If it's what you say it is, you don't need me. That's what I felt when I made Roses.
Right.
If it's what I say it is, I don't care who doesn't want it. It's going. Mm-hmm. And it did that. Right. So that was incredible confirmation for me. I've seen my dreams come true and confirmation of my belief multiple times in my life, enough to know that I'm not crazy. Other people just don't get it yet.
What are another couple of examples where you've seen that happen?
I've seen it happen in fashion. So Christian Sex Club, I turned it from a $30,000 investment to a multi-million-dollar company.
That's huge.
Just independently. And I don't say it like no flex. I say it like...
that's a big deal. That's
business acumen, because I'm an art entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. I take my ideas and I turn them into real things that are tangible. So all I do is continue believing in myself, and I continue investing in my ideas and my thoughts. Most people don't do that.
You're right about that. People will have the best ideas, but if you never execute, an idea doesn't matter, and then someone else does it, and you're like, I had that idea,
Yeah.
and now I see this person doing it. And there's also people who are creative, but also don't like to deal with the business aspect of things. But you are very involved in your own business side of things.
Yeah, I used to manage myself. I came from that school of thought where I'd have to go in a room and talk to people and learn the game.
And then does Biggs still manage you?
Yeah.
So how did that, and that's been for a while now.
Yeah, it's
so
been a while.
How were you able to even give up that type of control, being that you managed yourself? And clearly a lot of what you do business-wise is you being independent, doing your own thing.
I wanted when I first met Biggs, first of all, it's Biggs. I'm wearing a Rockefeller chain. Like, this
I
is
see
the
it.
whole thing, right? This is just part of my childhood dreams. I get really excited.
We're from
when
Brooklyn.
I think about it. It's from Brooklyn. This is it. This is it. When I met him, and he was a fan of mine, which is trippy. He was like, yo, bro, I'm a fan. Tata just put me onto the music. And we just started building a really good relationship. And what I needed at the time, and what I still need and require, is I just needed somebody who was going to fight with me. Not fight me. Fight someone else on behalf of the things that I need, the belief systems that I have, the art that I was making. I just needed somebody in the room that could have a difficult conversation with other people. That's all I wanted. I didn't need anybody with great resources.
Right.
I didn't need anybody who knew how to do this. Just, are you willing to put your fists up for me?
Right. Do the hard negotiations.
That's it. And he was that. He was like,
sometimes negotiating for yourself gets emotional too.
it does.
It's hard because it's like you know your value, and it's hard to hear other people try to like place something on it that you think is more valuable than that. It's good to have somebody else do that because it can get very heated in those
is.
conversations when you're going to bat for yourself and you know what you want, and then someone says something, you be like, you know what, forget it, fuck you.
You need separation.
Yeah, you do.
Because you're talking about yourself. They say business isn't personal, but when you're a person doing business, it's as personal as it possibly gets. So you need a little bit of separation just so you can communicate your needs, and someone else can scream at someone without it coming back to you.
Right.
You need a bad guy.
I don't want to know what happened in that
Yeah.
room. I just want to know we got to where we needed to get to.
Yeah, he's great at that because he was a silent partner for 139 years.
Right.
So he knows how to be a polite bully.
And Biggs ain't big no more either.
This is six pack Biggs.
Yeah.
This is six
funny.
paws. Biggs ain't big no more. You got me indulging in this. Yo.
Now, I want to talk also about, because you are Guyanese, and you know the song "Loneliness" that's on the new album, that has a Caribbean feel to it.
All the way.
All the way. So tell me about the process of making that song and how this came about.
So we started it. Everything that I did from this collection I made in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
So when I was there, as I'm living there, I'm listening to reggaeton, I'm listening to dembow, I'm listening to everything that's fast, that makes you move, that makes you dance. And I've never really been able to make people dance. That's like I got to figure that out. Because I think it's a skill.
Yeah.
Right? So when I was making Loneliness, I was like, this song is beautiful, but it didn't have the drums and it didn't have the tempo yet. I just made it just a chord. So it was just a really pretty sad song, which I'm clearly good at making sad songs because I be sad.
Mm-hmm.
But then I called Macho Montana.
That's the king.
Me and Macho met a couple years ago at Road March in Trini. And we've been meaning to work. And I was like, bro, I got a record. He's the king. And I'm super humbled. And we got a good relationship. And I'm like, bro, would you do this? Would you get on this record with me? The song is done. I just needed him to do backgrounds. I just wanted him to do ad-libs. And he was like, absolutely. And I was like,
that's great.
Bro. Marshall was down to just get on the record.
With this one.
Straight to the top. And I was like, yo, the drums. He was like, I know the drums ain't there. He's like, I'm going to get it right. So he worked with his guys to get the drums right.
That's so dope.
So it makes my heart warm. That's hometown hero for me.
I feel you on that. I met him at the they had the Caribbean Awards, and he was there. I was like, this is amazing. He's in Brooklyn at King's Theater. Like
crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. So that song Loneliness is soca.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like Afro-Caribbean. It's really a soca record.
Right. I feel it because when I heard it, I was like, this feel like you at at a carnival
or Road March. I can't wait to do it at Carnival. He was like, yo, we got to do this one at Carnival. I said, we going to win. We're going to win Road March if we go.
So wait, so you still have another collection after this?
Yeah.
And you said they are both, this is coming out February 21st.
Yeah.
Festival season, but then you have the next collection dropping this year.
Yeah, it's called Fake Tears from a Pop Star.
Okay, Fake Tears from a Pop Star.
Yeah.
What is that?
So festival season and Fake Tears from a Pop Star are two halves from the same apple. Festival season is animated, it's extroverted, and Fake Tears from a Pop Star is introverted. There are lots of moments on it where I'm reflecting on things that are difficult for me to talk about.
Okay.
You hear a lot of information, a lot of life reality. It's probably me at my saddest and most vulnerable and most open. And I try to be open and honest in all of my music, and sometimes it's clouded by the production. Like when you hear festival season, the production is so dynamic that you don't realize there's moments that are troubling me. There are things that are hurting me because it's disguised by the drums and the synths.
Right.
But on Fake Tears from a Pop Star, the title of it in and of itself is, I'll tell you what it really derives from. I know that the place that I've managed to walk myself into at this point in my life means that even when I'm going through something, it just seems performative to people. When I'm on that stage and I'm giving my best self, my most hurt self, my most honest self, my most difficult conversations happen when I'm on that stage. Festival season is the stage. And Fake Tears is the result of being on the stage, knowing that when I cry and they clap, it doesn't solve my pain. And the applause that I get from the tears, they just think it's cool. He's performing. They don't know that I go home and I got to deal with myself. And my realities are harsh. No matter what car I drive, no matter where I live or how big my windows are, same kid from Brooklyn, the same kid from East New York has found himself in a different place in life, but his problems found him.
It's kind of like you said, nobody wants to hear these complaints from a rich,
Yeah, nobody wants to hear a rich nigga cry.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem real.
Because especially not on social media. Oh my God!
Yeah.
As soon as somebody's having some issues, they're like, "Well, they're famous. What do they care? They have money. We don't want to hear." Even like, look at the fires in LA, right? I saw people not having any type of empathy for people who have literally lost their homes. Yo, you're rich, buy another one, because you don't know what people's. You might have a nice home, maybe that was your everything, but just seeing that, I was like, we are in a world where people don't be having no empathy for you. And when people see like a rich person, they automatically think your life should be perfect.
Yeah, because it looks like that from the outside in. 'Cause I was a super poor kid, just was trying to hustle, trying to get it. So I might have thought the same thing until experience taught me that money doesn't cure your pain. It doesn't make anything go away. It illuminates everything. Just so if you have all the resources you need and you finally have access to all the things that you want, and you still can't find peace, that's the scariest thing on the planet. Because you were told that when you grow to a place where things are better for you and the scenario is better, you will feel better.
Right.
When that doesn't happen, it destroys you. Because who are you supposed to run to? Because you can't run away from yourself. Fake Tears from a Pop Star is that. I can't run away from myself.
Wow, this is going to be amazing. And I know I saw you responding to people that were like, are you sure it's really coming out? So what's the rollout? And people are asking questions like that. And you've, even for the first collection, though, you put out like, I think 3 singles. Yeah, ahead of time that people had the opportunity to listen to. So I do think that people sometimes feel like they like when people are in pain and make music.
Yeah.
Like audiences prefer that for some reason.
But they're not hoping you heal. They're not saying, yo, he's in pain. I wish him the best. I love this music. Thank you for sharing. I hope you find peace. They're like, more pain. Hurt more.
Yeah. They'll be like, oh, Mary makes the best music when she's going through some heartbreak. I know this next album's going to be hitting. It's like, damn, you don't want her to be happy and,
Because you trade your humanity for this type of success or this type of visibility. You stop being human the minute you become something that someone celebrates. That happens.
Right.
Your anonymity's out the window and you're no longer a person. You're no longer your mother's son, your sister's friend. You just lit.
How is Puerto Rico for you, living there? And do you feel like you get more privacy being in Puerto Rico than you would in LA or New York?
I do. I wanted peace. I wanted something that felt like Guyana. That's what I was chasing. I needed a version of Guyana that I can still get my business done because I was really close to the rest of the planet.
Okay.
So I do a lot of work in Europe and a lot of work in America. and Puerto Rico sandwiched right in the middle. I could get to Florida in 2 hours. I could get straight to Barcelona in 7-8 hours with a direct flight. It's peaceful. It's simple. Nobody cares about St. John. Mm-hmm. Nobody's looking for me like, yo, that's the guy who did Roses or Brown Skin Girl. They don't care.
St. Juan.
Right. San Juan, right?
St. Juan. San Juan. So, do you speak Spanish at all?
Poquito.
Now? Muy poquito.
Muy poquito, muy poquito.
You working on it?
Yeah. Habla poquito español. Hear my accent, though, yeah.
How is it, though, for you living there? Because that is a different, it's completely different from every experience that you've had.
Yeah, in some ways, it might be the bravest thing I've ever done. But I'm so accustomed to moving because I'm looking for the life that I've dreamt of in my head. So I'm cool to hunt it. I don't mind hunting it. And if I'm being really transparent, Puerto Rico's racist. No one talks about that. And I've never even said that out loud.
You mean like colorism or?
In every variation of it.
We hear a lot about that. I remember Amara La Negra talked about the colorism in the Hispanic community. And that's been a real thing. The images
loud.
You see on TV.
It's loud, active, and very present. Mm-hmm. Even when you think of Latin artists, you don't think of nobody that don't look whitish.
Right, you're right.
And I'm like, that ends up being that's an amplification of whatever's happening on a small scale, right? You look at the things that represent the culture that we consume, and you're like, oh, this is Latin culture. Show me what it's about. Give me a demo of it. And you see a slideshow, you don't see people of varying color. You start thinking that only that exists and only that should be celebrated because that's the only thing that they're allowing to be celebrated.
Like in the telenovelas, they say it's all like white-looking Puerto Ricans and Hispanic people on those.
Yeah. Same thing in the musicianship. There's black artists, you never hear about them.
Right.
And
that's always been an issue in some of the reggaeton videos. It's like, where's all the brown-skinned women in the videos?
The Afro-Latinas, where's the representation from them or for them? It's just not present. And then when you get there and you live in the land,
that's when you really feel it. Yeah.
You feel the absence of it. Like they almost look at you. I remember when I first got there, I just didn't get it. I'm 6'3", my hair looks like this. I be wearing my sleeves off, my legs be out. I'm like, so it's kind of hard to miss me. I'm kind of like an alien, right?
Sleeves off, legs out, here I am.
Here I am, right? I'm walking through the mall. I remember walking through the mall one day, and I'd never felt this before. And I've been around the world, and I've seen racism in different ways. And I remember nobody looking at me, and I remember thinking, okay, that's not crazy that people aren't looking at me, but people would go out of their way to not look in my direction. And it took me a while to process. I was like, what's going on here? I just didn't get it. I couldn't, because my brain doesn't default to, they don't love me because of the color of my skin.
Right.
Because my skin is beautiful. I'm glowing. I can't imagine somebody.
You're known for your skin.
Yeah. You don't love me for my skin.
People love your skin.
That seems like you don't love yourself. Mm-hmm. So my brain didn't compute it like that. And it took 3 years before I could see the experience. I could gather a bunch of experiences, and I saw that this is consistent. Like, oh, y'all don't rate
You're
people like me.
You're purposely looking at me.
Yeah.
You purposely refuse to
You don't want to
acknowledge
my humanity. And then because I'm in the capital of any country should tell you a lot about the country.
Okay.
Right? It tends to reflect all of the small behaviors of that economy. In the capital, I can't find no black people unless they tourists. I'm like, nah, I can't. How is that?
That's wild.
How is that? I got to go to Piñones. I got to go to Loíza. I'm in San Juan. Where's the people of color? Everybody here white? So, yeah, and I live there, so I imagine this conversation going to make some people upset, and hopefully it makes some people feel a little bit more reflective.
Yeah, and think about, the times that we're in, boy. Well, listen, I want to thank you so much for coming. Like, this was an amazing conversation. Dan's happy. You even got Dan to open up.
Oh, man.
No, but I appreciate it because I know we took this in a lot of different, places, and this could have went on and on and on. Oh, I do want to ask you one last thing because I wrote down a little bit of notes. The song "Anything Can Happen," where I know you've worked with Kanye. Meek is on there. He addresses Kanye, his support of Trump. Sometimes people get on your records, not just you, but like in general, and they talk about someone else. Is that a decision to make like, ooh, I don't know if I want to put this on my song because we've heard this happen with other people. Like, I didn't know he was going to say something about this person. Or what did you think when you heard it?
I thought it was cool. Mm-hmm. It's freedom of speech. You got to be, this is art. If you can't express yourself in art, then where would you feel free enough to even communicate your pains or truths? I thought it was cool. Like, that's how you really feel?
Right.
He didn't really say nothing offensive. He just said his perspective. He ain't say nothing derogatory or degrading. It was just like, yo, I don't
That's
agree
what we
with
all
this.
were thinking.
Yeah. Like
A
this,
lot of us.
This line of thinking don't make sense for me. I thought that was cool. But if somebody says something I genuinely don't believe in, and I got to stand behind it on a piece of art, like I don't even like the opinion that it exists, then I might have to counsel myself because I really don't want to limit people from being able to tell the truth. But I don't want them to do it on my
Not on your.
financial dime.
Have you ever had to be like, let me take this off, or let me?
I haven't.
Okay.
Yet. I haven't yet.
Do you ever have to send something back to someone and be like, I don't know if I'm really feeling this verse. Can you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, do it again. That's not the direction. That ain't it. Do it again.
Is that hard to do?
No, I just get on the phone and have an artist-to-artist conversation.
Okay. Some people get offended. That's why.
Nah, I'd be like, look, so the way I was thinking about this was melodic. You went rhythmic.
That's nice.
Come on, fam. I got
You're
this.
so good. You're dynamic.
I'm dynamic.
Well, the second installation, collection 2, Fake Tears from a Pop Star, is going to be out later this year, right?
Yeah,
that's a definite.
A promise.
That's a
an
promise.
Absolute, yeah.
Okay.
So,
I don't want to have to run this back.
Nah.
December 30th.
No, because that would be dissatisfying. For me, that'd be dissatisfying.
Okay.
It's been 4 years. People have been waiting for collection 2, so I'm clear that it needs to happen because musically, I got to move on. Creatively, I have to keep going. So if I've been here making Fake Tears from a Pop Star for 4 years, that means that the fact that you and I are having this conversation right now means that I'm actually no longer creatively there.
So it's done, or is it done already?
It's done.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I'm in the future. I'm thinking about the collection.
That's great.
The 2 collections that come out after that. I'm almost fashioning the way that I look at art, the way designers release their collections of clothes. I'm looking at fall of 2026.
Nice.
Like I can't live here in this moment for too long. I get stuck.
Well, festival season is for sure. February 20th. I heard it. February 21st.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go back and listen to it some more since I just got it. But don't worry, I won't leak it out or nothing.
All right, cool.
And yeah, thank you so much. This was such a pleasure to be able to sit and have this conversation.
I'm happy you finally got to talk.
Finally.
Yeah.
I know. We've been working on this. But thank you so much. Just 2 Brooklyn kids,
Just
kicking
2
it.
Brooklyn kids. More to come.
All right.